Merkin's voice was low, hesitant, almost lost in the noise that still echoed in her head from the dinner moments earlier. She stood a few steps behind Ates, watching his rigid back as he faced away from her, his shoulders tense, as if he were holding himself together by force alone. "I'm really sorry," she continued, the words tumbling out in confusion. "I honestly don't understand what just happened." Ates let out a short, humorless breath. "You really picked the perfect person for a surprise," he said coldly, without turning around. "Do you think I'm someone who understands surprises?" Merkin frowned, her chest tightening. "What did I do just now?" she asked. "Are you going to tell me? At least talk to me." "Not now," Ates snapped. "Not now," her voice rose despite herself. "Do you even realize what you just did in there, or what you're accusing me of? What right did you have to humiliate me in front of everyone?" He finally turned to face her, his eyes dark and sharp. "What right did you have to do what you did?" he shot back. "Do you have any idea how that looked? You didn't just embarrass me, you embarrassed me in front of guests." "It was never my intention," Merkin said quickly. "If I knew it would upset you." "I told you." Ates cut in again, his tone final, almost threatening. "Not now." "Did I do something wrong to you? At least tell me that. Because right now, I don't even know what I'm apologizing for." Ates' jaw tightened. For a brief second, something flickered across his face, something raw and dangerous. "Enough, Merkin," he said. "Enough." She hesitated, then spoke the thought that had been forming in her mind ever since his reaction. "This is about your childhood, isn't it?" she asked carefully. "Something that happened back then, something that made you like this." That was the wrong thing to say. "I said enough," Ates repeated, his voice rising. "Stop digging into my past. Stop trying to analyze me. It doesn't concern you." "Why doesn't it?" Merkin asked, frustration and hurt mixing together. "Why are you so angry all the time? What are you hiding?" Ates turned away again, running a hand through his hair as if trying to burn the conversation out of existence. "Let it burn," he muttered. "I'm fine." "You don't look fine," Merkin said softly. "I said I'm fine," he replied, harsher now, "even if it doesn't look like it." The distance between them felt wider than the room itself. Behind them, voices drifted faintly from the house, apologies offered to guests, excuses made, polite smiles covering the awkwardness of what had just occurred. Ates barely seemed to hear them. "Cancel the cinema plans, Seymour," he said abruptly, pulling out his phone. Merkin stared at him. Everything was already arranged, she protested. "I don't care," Ates replied. "Cancel it." She took a step closer. "Look, you're clearly angry right now. Maybe you just need time. Calm down. I won't do anything. When you feel better, we can talk again, okay?" Ates didn't answer. From the other room, Merkin's apology to the guests echoed again, her voice polite, controlled, asking forgiveness for the tension. People responded kindly, brushing it off, saying there must be a reason, suggesting they talk tomorrow instead. Tomorrow. Merkin watched Ates as the guests began to leave. He looked distant, unreachable, already somewhere else entirely. "I keep upsetting her," he muttered under his breath, not looking at anyone in particular. "And she hasn't done anything wrong." Merkin heard it. The words hurt more than his anger. She followed him outside. "It's wait," she said, reaching for him. "Please stop." He slowed, just enough to listen. "You're angry," she continued. "And you have every right to be, but I was scared. Not just for myself, also for you." He finally looked at her again, and for a moment, the anger wavered, revealing something else beneath it, fear, maybe, or exhaustion. That moment passed just as quickly. "I can't do this right now," Ates said. "I really can't." And with that, he turned away, leaving Merkin standing there with questions he refused to answer and a silence that felt heavier than any argument. The night did not end when Ates walked away. For Merkin, it only began there. She stood where he had left her for several seconds, the cool air brushing against her face, her thoughts tangled and loud. Something about his reaction refused to settle in her mind. It wasn't just anger. It was panic-controlled, buried, and dangerous in the way it surfaced only when touched. She followed him inside. Ates was in the hallway, loosening his jacket as if the fabric itself was suffocating him. His movements were sharp, impatient. Merkin stopped a few steps behind him. "Ates," she said carefully, choosing each word as if it might explode. "I'm not trying to fight with you." He didn't turn around. "I know I crossed a line," she continued. "But I don't understand where that line even is. One moment everything is fine, and the next you're shutting me out completely. Because you don't know where to stop," Ates said flatly. She flinched. "I stopped the moment you asked me to." "No," he replied. "You stopped talking. You didn't stop looking." That hurt more than she expected. Merkin took a breath. "I noticed things," she admitted. "The scars on your back, the way you reacted to the cake last night. These aren't coincidences. Ates, you don't get that angry over nothing." Silence. Ates's hands curled slowly into fists. "You had a hard childhood, didn't you?" she asked gently. "You don't have to tell me everything. Just don't pretend it didn't shape you." He turned on her so suddenly that she instinctively stepped back. "Enough," he said again, louder this time. "What is it you want from me, Merkin? A confession? A tragic story that makes sense of your curiosity?" "That's not fair," she said. "You know everything about me, my family, my fears, my past. But when I try to understand you, you punish me for it." His eyes hardened. "Because my past isn't a conversation topic. It's not a puzzle for you to solve." "So what is it?" she asked, her voice breaking despite her effort to stay calm. "A secret, a shame, something you're afraid I'll see?" Ates laughed, sharp and bitter. "You really don't know when to be quiet." "That's not true," Merkin shot back. "I've been quiet for days, weeks. When something hurts this much, people usually want to talk about it. I don't," he said immediately, "and I never will." She searched his face, hoping to find hesitation, an opening anything. Instead, she found a wall. "Did you grow up in an orphanage?" she asked softly, almost to herself. The word landed like a blow. Ates's expression went completely still. "That," he said slowly, "is none of your business." "This isn't fair," Merkin said, frustration finally overtaking her restraint. "You expect me to stand beside you, to understand your moods, your anger, your silence, but you give me nothing in return." "I didn't ask you to understand me," Ates replied coldly. "I asked you to stop." She shook her head. "I'm not your enemy." He stepped closer, his voice dropping. "If you weren't trying to break down every door I've built, you wouldn't feel like one." Merkin felt tears sting her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. "Maybe you're not as strong as you want everyone to believe," she said quietly. "Maybe you're just protecting yourself." For a moment, something cracked. Ates turned away abruptly, dragging a hand down his face. "You talk too much," he muttered. "You think words fix things." She took another step forward. "I think silence is destroying us." He faced her again, his voice now flat, exhausted. "Leave me alone." "Why are you so cold?" she asked. "So cruel?" "Because this is how I survive," he answered. "And if you keep pushing, you won't like what you find." The words weren't a threat, they were a warning. Merkin stood there, heart pounding, realizing that whatever Ates was hiding wasn't just painful, it was something he had built his entire identity around keeping buried. And no matter how close she stood to him now, she was still on the